And as the furlough scheme ends in October, recruiters warn of a second wave of job losses.
I think it'll get worse before it gets better. I personally feel that it's going to peak because everybody is nervous and you want to survive this. So if we survive it, you can then grow afterwards. So you're going to be risk adverse if you're a good business owner. You're going to want to be here at the end of this.
Let's welcome Kate McCarthy-Booth, who's the founder of McCarthy Recruitment based in Warrington, to get a sense of what actually is out there in terms of job vacancies at the moment. Kate, good morning.
Good morning, Emma.
Thanks for joining us. First of all, do these figures surprise you? What's your take on these?
No, not at all. And I do probably have a gut feel that they will go up just from, conversations with our clients and other recruiters that are my peers. And it's a tough market out there for people looking for a job.
What are you seeing and hearing?
A lot of people that are on furlough that perhaps know that it's coming, that they're not going to go back to work. A lot of people worried about that. Surprisingly, lots of people that I know that are on furlough that their current employer's not even talking to them, so they don't actually know what's happening. So a lot of uncertainty. A lot of businesses almost taking stock and saying, okay, we just need to wait and see. So this uncertainty breeds, even if you need to recruit, people are waiting. So they might have vacancies, but they're kind of holding their breath to think everything is changing so quickly. Even the rule of six for me, I didn't even see that coming, and I'm really close to it, Emma. So hospitality businesses that kind of just got on the feet again, that are in local lockdowns that are being affected. So it's changing so quickly that I think business owners are kind of saying, look, we just need to stop and wait, and actually we need to have a baseline of survival and look to grow when we know things are certain. So I think that's affecting it as well. So even where there could potentially be vacancies, people are kind of saying, let's just wait and see what happens.
Where are the vacancies right now? Are there some trends, some particular types of businesses that are saying we're hiring?
Yeah, I mean, look, there are some businesses that have, I'm going to say, done well out of it. I don't think they've done brilliantly well, but they've coped with this whole situation a lot better. Their businesses were set up to do it better. So, there are some retail businesses that have had really strong e-commerce already that, and for example, in home, DIY, trade, you've definitely seen a shift. People being at home in lockdown and looking at the four walls, maybe, Emma, and thinking, do you know what, actually, I'd like to do something with this. And they're not spending the money on the holidays that they would have been. So where you've seen travel massively affected, you've then had a flip side where people are investing in the home. So, things like trades are doing well. I think if you try to book a really good builder at the minute, you might struggle because there are people spending money in that area now. We're also seeing it, there are some tech and IT companies that are creating some really good bits of kit at the minute and doing really well, and they're expanding and growing, and you can see that. And we're working with tech companies looking at some of their kind of operational roles, finance, IT, HR, they all need that infrastructure as well. And then you've got food, you look at retail, and there's a lot of people talk about sector of retail being hit, but actually there are businesses within retail that are actually doing well. And food, we've definitely seen that. Iceland are talking about another 3,000 jobs only a couple of days ago. We work with a number of food retailers that are expanding and still opening stores. So I think it's about looking for the areas within sectors as opposed to, an overarching sector that's not doing well. We saw, a pizza company only a few days ago, again, announce more jobs. But yet, if you talk about hospitality as a whole, it's quite a negative perspective on it.
Any idea, or maybe you can't give us this, but any sense of how many people are applying for a role?
Look, it depends on the role. The less skilled the role, you could be up to 300, 500 people for one role. Even I've heard of 1,000 for a role, if it's I don't know.
1,000?
Yeah, if you're looking at a role like a waitress or, a bartender where you may not have to they may prefer you to have worked in that area before, but you wouldn't have necessarily need to be skilled in the past. Or even drivers, there's a lot of people now driving delivery vans that, were working as pilots 6 months ago, highly skilled in other jobs, but they've said, well, I can't get that job. I can drive, I'll go and be a driver. So actually, it was difficult to recruit drivers, a year ago. I would say it's actually probably difficult to get a job as a driver at the minute if you're applying for that. Maybe not at the beginning of all this, but certainly if you're behind the curve and you start now. The more skilled you get, we're still getting a high amount of applications, and we're actually seeing some clients come to us and say, look, we're really struggling with the amount of applications because we can't aid the customer service to that candidate. Candidates are really frustrated. Can you help us sort that out? Are there different ways of managing this? I'm also getting clients saying, well, actually, we just can't cope with the volume, and we want to make sure we're getting the right candidate. And you can't really tell from a CV, Emma, if somebody's a great candidate or not. You can look through the skill set, but from a behavioural, cultural fit, from looking and understanding exactly what they could bring, and that's why candidates get frustrated. And actually, as much as the sector, recruitment, we've been hit badly as well. That's obvious. If there's less vacancies and more candidates, it's hard in our sector as well. There's a place for us in the sense of we've got more time to speak to every candidate as opposed to just go through CVs and actually find the best candidate for the job and make the candidate feel valued. But ultimately, it's just a difficult world out there, and it's so unprecedented that a lot of people just weren't ready for this.
Thanks for giving us an insight. 1,000 people going for one job there, and the types of jobs that have changed that people are going for. It's really important to hear that.